Yeah, welcome to the Microsoft National Learning Weeks. So when we are waiting for more people, yeah, you can maybe like grab your food or even like your drinks beside you. So yeah, we can together experience these 2 hours lah. Yep, we will be starting soon, so be patient and also stay excited to the sessions lah.
Anybody want to chit chat something?
All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just want to ask you guys whether have you all eaten your like dinner already? Because since now is 8 p.m. Yeah, just want to like know, have you guys eaten your dinner? Yep, I see. Yeah, Linda, you have anything? I saw you raise your hand. Yeah. All right. So if let's say your situation allow you as well, so feel free to like open your mind or even like open your video cam as well. So to make these sessions, more interactive and also like more fun when we are having tonight lah. All right. Yeah, I saw Lava is saying eaten and also I saw someone is saying eaten already. So yeah, it's good lah. So I guess we can start our Microsoft Learning National Learning for today. So yep, once again, I would like to appreciate and also welcome everyone to this learning space. So a little bit of a disclaimer over here. Hey, wait, So yeah, when you join this meeting, right, your name, your email address, and also your face might be viewable by others session participate in the attendee list. So by joining, you are agreeing to this experience. So just a little bit of disclaimer before we start our sessions. All right. So before we enter today's topic, right, or even the content, so remember to scan this QR code because it's like to record your attendance as well. So I'll give you some time to take your handphone or even like to scan this QR code and then fill in the attendance form for today's session. Yep. So you may now take your phone and then you may scan this QR code. Yeah. Okay, then I'll be waiting for a few more seconds before we proceed. Okay, so I think I will be proceed first. So if let's say later you still can't catch the attendance form, feel free to knock me or even like inform us in the group so we are able to assist you. So yep, once again, welcome everyone to the Squid Game, which is like the sessions by AIESEC. So without further ado, right, just let accept the challenge. Okay, so basically, right, for today's we have a little bit of expectations for you all. So like to align with the theme of Squid Game. So first, I'll turn off camera during the sessions because to maximize the experience and also like to help you to focus a little bit throughout the whole session as well. And the second thing is because for today's we have our speakers to share or even like we have those kind of like interactive session. So feel free to share with us your thoughts or even your ideas. If let's say you have any so you want to share it through the chat box also can, or even like you want to unmute yourself and interact with me or even the speakers, feel free to do so. And then lastly, have your laptop besides you because for today's we will be having a very interesting working space or even like those kind of like hands-on activities. So need your help to like get your laptop besides you. So if let's say any things that you just can use your laptop to interact with us. Yep. So yeah, this will be the few expectations before we start the session. So if let's say you are cool and also like so far the flow is nice and also you think it is okay, so put me a yes in the chat box so I know everyone is like okay with this kind of space or even like okay so far.
Okay, one other thing I'd like to add, Bin Cheng, at this point in time.
Sure.
I think Jensen, you have sent out the email and then the attachment for them to do that pre-work to get data and download the data into Excel. Okay, so later on, I think we do not want to do a live live download because experience from yesterday, there can be quite a tremendous amount of lag. So what we'll do is that the Excel file that was emailed to you, you can immediately put it into your local drive or a directory. Then if not, if you look at the chat box there, at the very first item, I've already downloaded the Excel put the Excel in the chat box. So you can just download that and put it into your laptop. Also later when we do the exercise, we'll use that as a start point. I don't think you want to attempt to everybody connect up to the internet. I think we will spend half the time waiting. Okay, that's cool. Okay, but on your own and on your own free will, please go and try. Okay, that one page instruction that I've given you, how to get data from the website and populate the data into your Excel. Now understand? Sorry, Vincent, continue.
Yeah, thanks, thanks, Mr. Tan, for the clarification again. So everyone please alert when later if you have any notification to you, then remember to alert on it and then if let's say you don't understand anything, feel free to knock us out through the chat box as well. So once again, welcome to the game. So today will be actually our last sessions of AIESEC Hackathon 101 So I hope you can gain like a good experience throughout the whole AIESEC Hackathon. And then for today's, I will be the main coordinator for these sessions. So a little bit about myself is I'm actually Bing Chen. So you can call me Bing Chen, and then my surname is actually Gaw. And then the photo is me, and then I'm actually studying in UPM, University Putra Science Malaysia. And then I'm year 2 students and a lot of people might ask, hey, so what do you study about biomedical science? So basically it's like, in short, in the future we'll do those kind of like research, or even like we'll be rely a lot on like data, or even like those scientific data And then I'm also AIESEC in Malaysia National Partnership Development Executive, and also AIESEC in UPM Youth Program Coordinator So if let's say you are interested in this kind of like programs, or even like you are interested in this kind of hackathons, right? So feel free to knock us out, or even like our AIESEC members, so we are able to assist you or even provide you with further opportunities. So after introducing myself, right? So basically I will be briefing a little bit about today's game flow. So today's game flow actually will have a little bit introductions, and then you enter a squid game. It's like opening okay? And then we'll introduce about data analysis, because I believe that you all join this session is because you all see like the poster or even like the caption anywhere with about data analysis and then today we'll be focusing on this, and then after that we'll have an activity space, and then we'll have a Q&A time with the speakers or even with us, and then lastly we have a challenge introduction. So if let's say you want to know what is the challenge about, right, then still stay until the end, because the challenge is very interesting and also definitely will help you to add values to your studies or even like to your personal values in the future And then lastly, we have a proper closing. So basically, I will wrap up the whole sessions. And then a little bit of introduction about myself, right? About AIESEC as well. So in short, I believe that for those who joined previous session, you already know what is AIESEC. But for those who just joined this session, but you don't know what is AIESEC about, basically we are a youth global platform that our main objective is to develop leadership potential. And then we are MPO, and then we also run youth program and also recent graduate institution, or even like those kind of internship program. And after the whole like big chunks of introductions and anything, right? So I just want to ask you all questions, because throughout just now, like the previous sessions, I always talk about myself, or even like AIESEC organizations, or even today agenda. So actually I have a few questions for you all. So the first question is actually, it's very simple. You just put yes or no in the chat box to let me know. Have you go back to your universities or even like your schools, be it like matriculation, diploma, or even secondary schools? So have you all go back to your school physically? Like maybe you're staying in your hostel or anything. Oh, no. No. Okay.
Oh, so many no.
Okay. So I get to know like a lot of you haven't go back to your university. So my next question is very simple. So you just need to be just to answer me in a very simple way. So what is your mood for you to study? For example, now you are studying hybrid. Maybe your practical you do hybrid, you do physical, and then your lecture you do virtual. or even like you do fully virtual or fully physical? Virtual. Okay, virtual. Okay, yeah, thanks Huan Yi as well, and also thanks Lim. Yeah, and then the others lah, like Piao, and then Sashita, Xiaoni. Yeah, hybrid. Okay, so actually I also study in a hybrid mood lah, because I'm studying biomedical science, so I will need to handle those experiments. So I will need to go back to my school, university, but I'm during lecture I was still studying online lah. Yep. And my next question will be, the next question will be, do you think digitalization is still a very big part of your life, on our life lah? Yeah, be it like academic, be it your personal life, or be it any others like maybe your studies or your works or anything. Yeah, you put a yes or you put a no. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Huan Yi. Yeah, yes. Okay. Any other thoughts? Yeah, you may further elaborate lah if let's say you want. Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you so much again for interact with me, and I really appreciate. So keep the momentum on. So the next question, not the next question lah. Okay. So you can see there's I will play the slide, right. So actually you can see there's a lot of the words here, or even like you can see it's like an Excel file. Yeah, there are a lot of data here, right. So I want to ask you a questions lah. Okay, because just like you say, digitalization is for sure very crucial for our life. So my question is, what do you think about data? Because digitalization, data also part of the digitalization, right? So what is the data means to you? Yeah, you can answer anything. So maybe you think data is telling you the truth. Data is telling you anything. Yeah, so feel free to like type your short answers, or even like you want to elaborate in the chat box. Yep, I'll give you a certain time, like maybe 5 to 10 seconds to type lah. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about data? For example, like your FYP we are doing with dealing with data, or even like you are doing those kind of research, you are doing those kind of like your students assignments. So in your daily activities, right, you interact with a lot of data lah. So what do you think the data about? Yeah, what data actually means to you? So yeah, I will give you some informations. Involve daily life. Data is the new oil. Okay. Yeah, it's very true, I would say, and I think it's a very interesting perspective as well lah. Information involve daily life. Yep, I very agree on that lah. Okay, so you can still type your answer in the chat box lah, and then I will be moving on as well. But then if I also welcome like any other answers lah. Okay. So you think data is very important, right? I mean, like digitalization play a very big part of role in our life, and then you think data is maybe a lot of information or anything. That's why, to give you a further, further knowledge or even better experience on what data means to you. Actually, AIESEC is very honored lah to have Trinity here to give you a further insights of what data means, because actually Trinity is actually transformation and analytic coach lah, and also consulting practitioner in S4. So basically today's we will have a further insights in what data means, and also about data analytics lah. Yep. And then before today's we start our sessions, right, just in case that you are not able to open your mic, or even you are not able to open your camera, and maybe you are shy or anything, but you want to ask the question. So we prepare a platform for you. It's Slido. So actually, right, if let's say throughout the whole session, for example, the sharing sessions, interactive session, working space sessions, you have any questions that you want to ask later, so feel free to go to this Slido. So basically, Slido is like a place where you can ask questions anonymously, or even like you can ask with your name lah. So you can join this Slido. The code is 22222 here. So you can scan this QR code, or you can just directly type this code in the Slido website. And then if let's say you have any questions, right, then feel free to drop the questions inside this platform, and we will come back to you for today's last few session, which is the Q&A lah. Okay. So yeah, thanks for the link. So let's welcome our speakers for today. So which is Trinity, Mr. Tan Trinity. So again, he's the transformation and analytics coach, and also consulting practitioners lah. Okay. So yeah, I will be passing the mic to Trinity, and then you may take over the screen. Yeah, once again, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you, Bin Chen. A very good evening to everybody. A very good late evening to everybody. Okay, today is the last session of 3 weeks of national learning. Okay, the program is by Microsoft and is curated and organized by Fidelis. Today, I'll be together with AIESEC to talk on the topics of analytics or analysis. I'll use the term interchangeably throughout the whole session. I'm given about 45 minutes to do something that I normally can take half a day to do. Okay, so after these 45 minutes, we will go into a short exercise. And then after the exercise, you can go on to develop on the exercise and take a challenge and then hook up with the hackathon. Okay, so is that cool? Okay, before I go further, I'd like to have a sense of what the audience is like. Predominantly, the participants today will be people who are currently in the tertiary institution, undergrad and tertiary institution. But if you are not inside this group, can you indicate in the chat so that we can have a sensing? So in the chat, can you just put in R1-me or R1-me if you are not a tertiary student at the time being? Or just put inside the chat. Okay, the second question is that among you, I believe there will be people where today is not the first session that you attend on data analytics. Okay, you may have attended some similar session before, or you may be even taking a module in your course of study, or done some assessment, done some project that's related to data analytics. So if you belong to this group, similarly in the chat, can you put down R2-me or R2-me if you have already have some exposure to data analytics? So feel free to type it inside the chat box. Okay, I see there are some who are already exposed to data analytics. Okay, let me proceed. Usually I do not like to talk data analytics as data analytics. Okay, the main fundamental reason is that the purpose of data analytics is to derive at certain organization or business outcome. But in order to derive at that outcome, data analytics is not the only important thing. There are other important things that is necessary before that desired outcome can be achieved. So as a result, I have this notion of what I call an insights and experiences-based execution. Okay, this notion of insights and experience-based execution is perhaps a more holistic view where data analytics is part of. And at the same time, the intent is also to make sure that it is something that's pretty pragmatic and it's something that is able to be implemented on a more widespread and wider scale manner. Also, when I talk about data analytics today, I'll be talking it within the framework of my notion of insights and experiences-based execution. So let's dive straight in. What is data analytics? Okay, this is a good definition that I've drawn from this CIO ASEAN. Okay, down here what it says is that data analytics is a discipline focused on extracting insights from data. So the key thing is that how do you bring insights from data? And at the same time, this definition also tells you in order to transform from data to insights, there are other things, okay, that needs to be done. Things in terms of the process, in terms of the collection, how we organize the data, and even to the extent of storing the data. And in order to do analysis, you need tools and you need certain techniques that you can apply so that you can do a proper analysis. So this is, to me, is quite a good definition of data analytics. But beyond this definition, there are several other views, okay, that is out there where people look at analytics in some other different manner. So in this process, in the process of this entire session, I will actually touch on a few of these views. So let me start off with this view, which I call the science and logic view. So this particular view is something that for people who have already attended some data analytics session, this is close to 100%. Is a view that we have seen or that has been presented to you. Okay, this view to me, I call it the doctor's view, a medical doctor view. For example, when a patient go and see a doctor, the patient will describe their symptoms, and based on the symptoms, the doctor will try to do some diagnostic, and based on that diagnostic, the doctor will start to do some prediction of what could be the problem. Okay, and in order to substantiate some of this prediction, he may advise the patient that, okay, I need to send you for a certain test, and to get a certain test, after the result of a certain test comes in, then the doctor can do some additional diagnostic, and at the same time do some additional prediction of the condition. So let's say if a test comes in and then true enough, the test shows certain positive results along the line of what the doctor has predicted. That's where the doctor will go ahead to say, okay, I think, for example, you have COVID. And because you have COVID, currently you're already facing certain symptoms. So this symptom could get worse. And because it can get worse, later on you may face some breathing problem. And after that, if the thing get even more serious, you may need some ICU care. So based on the angle, I will need to put you into the hospital. So putting that patient into the hospital is what the doctor has prescribed, okay, as a solution to the set of condition and the diagnostic that has been done on that particular patient. Okay, so analytics is also seeing it from this angle is also something like that, from the start when it described all the way to how a prescription can be given. But what is missing in this slide is that there is actually a very important step, which I call the iterative step. When you go and see a doctor, even after getting the prescription, taking the medicine, there's always likelihood of review, meaning come back and look at it to say, hey, are you responding positively or negatively to the prescription that has been done? Or for the matter, after taking the medicine, you may have some additional condition. So all these additional condition needs to be addressed. So when those kind of things happen, then you go back, you go stand again to describe and then to diagnose, to predict, and then to prescribe again. Also very important, this slide, what is missing here is this particular iterative process. Also, this is a view that most of you have probably seen if you're not new to data analytics. The next view, I will not go into details as per the first one. So this view actually talks about data maturity. Basically, it focuses on the state of data used in a particular organization. Okay, you can spend time later on to look at the recording. I won't go through the points. But this particular view is very comprehensive. And it actually describes a very detailed way and going to very strong subject matter such as expertise and all those things. It's a very detailed view. And they focus on the state of data use. The next view is, like the word suggests, data governance. So this view, the main focus is how people use data and do they use it in a way that conform to the policies, to regulation. So basically, this particular mode of looking at data is looking at it from an angle of security, from an angle of conformance and control. And then eventually, for a more established company, they want to make sure that the use of the data conforms to what they call an enterprise information management system. Also, this is talking about governance. And the fourth view. Okay, this fourth view is a view which I call the expertise focused view. Again, this view is pretty comprehensive and it addresses the key roles that needs to be there. Okay, if let's say an organization or company wants to take analytics into a very deep manner. So you look at the roles here, they have defined data scientists, analytical consultants, head of analytics, data strategies, and all those things. So it looks like a very established and very resource-intensive kind of organization. So when you look at this, the first one, and then the subsequent 2, 3, 4 one, okay, the impression that you probably get is that, wow, it looks like it's pretty cheap, and a lot of expertise is required. Okay, and then as a result of that, and it's very technical, and as a result of that, actually it puts off a lot of people. Okay, so to me, this kind of presentation is good if, let's say, an organization wants to really take the data analytics into a very advanced manner, okay, which likelihood is not necessary for most organizations and companies out there. Okay, so it's something that's good to know, but honestly, very difficult to implement. Understand? Okay, so now let me drive on. Why data analytics? Okay, for this, I just want to address it from a very fundamental viewpoint, from the angle of relevance. So in life and in the work that we do, what is relevant? Okay, the first and foremost relevant for us is always about survival, which I call it essential. Okay, things that we need for our survival. The second part is that we always want to live beyond survival, meaning want to have a better life, earn more money, okay, have better food to eat and all those kinds of things. Also, that comes from an angle of value. Okay, value is something that is over and above essential. So when you look at the perspective of what is essential from a product and services point of view, so what is essential is probably the know-how of products. Okay, and it can be as simple as the food you eat, or the car you drive, the bicycle that you ride. Okay, in terms of digital economy, it will mean like your WhatsApp, okay, your food delivery app, and in our instance here, how to use Microsoft Teams, how to use Zoom, how to use Microsoft 365. Also, so these are the so-called essential product for us to so-called continue with life and work, okay, in wherever we are working. The value part of this is the creation of these kind of products and services. For example, the Grab taxi app or the Grab food delivery app. Okay, to be able to use it is something that is essential. But the person that created that great app, the Grab app, the Facebook, the Teams and the Zoom, those are the people that is creating a lot of value. So the value part from a product and services point of view is the creation of solutions for existential problems or to improve life. Okay, the next important thing about essential and value is that in the terms of the things that we do. Okay, this one is more about physical item, but in the things that we do, what is essential? Essential means being able to deliver tasks, and from the task, hopefully, create some productivity in the things that we do. For example, being able to use the Grab app, being able to, in your office, if you are, let's say, a purchaser, knowing how to use the ERP system, the SAP, the Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, if you are a salesperson, knowing how to use Teams and knowing how to use Teams to a certain level. Okay, so the essential part is that you must have the skills to be able to deliver those products and services. And what is that value part? The value part is that the example that I want to talk about is, for example, the food delivery people. They use the delivery app, okay, to send the food and all those things. And then the people backend, from the large pool of people that's using the app, from the buyers and from the delivery people, they can be looking at the data. And from the data, they can say that for initially a particular delivery person, he can do 3 deliveries in an hour. Even after buying a motorized bicycle, he can only do 3 deliveries in an hour. But for a person that is sitting back in and looking at the vast amount of data, he or she may be able to look at it and analyze it and say, hey, there are certain things that I'm able to do. For example, if I'm able to zone the delivery people, and if I'm able to zone the buyers, then I can actually improve or double the productivity of the delivery guy. So if I'm able to have a certain methodology by looking at those data, I can organize the delivery people such that now instead of can do 3 deliveries an hour, now this guy can do 6 deliveries an hour. Okay, so the essential part is the ability to use the delivery app. But the value part is being able to look at the data and provide very good suggestions and very good solutions to increase the productivity of the other people. Also, the essential and the value. But there's this current phenomenon, especially in the digital economy. This phenomenon about there's an accelerated erosion of value to become essential. And this especially so for the past 2 years under the COVID situation. Okay, what is that scenario? So let's look at the successes and realities that is brought by COVID. Of course, from the nature point of view, there's some good news because now we do a lot less things. We consume a lot less things. So as a result, we slow down the depletion of resources of the earth. Okay, as a result, the environment has a short breather, so to speak. And then we on our own, we actually slow down our so-called, to many people, the unnecessary pace of living. And we have also got used to a certain level of living with less. Okay, but at the same time, because of COVID, there's a lot of forcing in terms of mindset and paradigm shifts. For example, many previously unthinkable suddenly become possible under the COVID situation. One very glaring example is that we can never imagine a country of how many million people can be locked down. Okay, we can never imagine that now 80–90% of us are actually online and we're meeting online. Before COVID, you have to force people to use and go certain things online. But with COVID, suddenly everybody, a lot of things that they can't do previously, now they can do. Okay, so there's a lot of paradigm shift. And because of this, a lot of skill-based and process-based roles. Okay, for example, being able to use Teams, being able to use Zoom, being able to use Microsoft 365, being able to use the delivery app or certain financial app. Previously, being able to use all those things at that level is a value. But today, being able to use all those things is expected. It's no longer a value. Okay, so under this sort of scenario, then what then is value? Meaning now there are certain values that has now been replaced to become essential. So there must be some other thing that now go and replace those values that has been lost. Okay, so what are some of these potential areas? So my proposition is that these potential areas, then you can look at things that is a lot more knowledge and experiences based. Knowledge means evidence-based. Evidence-based contextual experiences now become even more necessary to differentiate. So for people now who wants to go beyond doing the essential and create some value, so the proposition now is that how do you game change? For the matter, how do you game change your job value? So I've touched on a bit the why and the how. For example, why and how? Empower your job with insights and experience-based execution. And in order to do that, analytics actually plays a very important part. Okay, so what you need to do now is that those things that you are able to do in terms of skill and process, now you need to elevate, or a good word to use is to game change it, okay, into something that is insights and experiences based, so-called very much knowledge based and experiential based. Okay, what are the examples? Okay, this was a posting that I put up 14 months ago, October 4th, but October 4th, 2020. Okay, so in this posting, I was musing on how COVID has happened and how, in terms of work, it has transformed so much. Then as a result, there's actually a lot of pressure now for businesses not to just rely on business as usual. Or businesses, in order to stay relevant, then you need to game change. So I was actually bringing out an example of how I had in my previous role eliminated manual reports and replaced them with slice and dice analytical reporting. Am I seeing from the angle that now with so many things that has become from value become essential, this part, if you're able to do this, it still belongs to a very good value to have. Then at the same time, 3 weeks later, I put up another posting. That posting was more in line with, at that time, Fidelis was awarded the Microsoft Global Training Partner of the Year from Malaysia. So I will put up the posting to share some of the things that we've done. So at that time, 14 months ago, in October 21st, 2020, 14 months ago, we have trained more than 1,000 teachers. Why? Because Microsoft had commissioned us to conduct at a rapid pace training for the teachers to use Teams and Microsoft 365 so that they can quickly, after that, being able to conduct lessons for the students online. So at a very fast pace, we actually conducted training for more than 1,000 teachers using OneNote, using Teams, and using Microsoft 365. By now, which is December 2021, from a Fidelis point of view, we have probably trained more than 100,000 teachers and students, either directly or indirectly. So what does this mean? This means that out there in the industry, there is this massive enabling of some of these previously skills that are of value. And because of it, enabling these skills has now become essential. Okay, so it's no longer considered very value, it considers essential. For example, if today, let's say Fidelis has a job opening, then if you come and say that you don't know Teams, we'll look at you with surprise. Huh, you mean you don't know Teams? Okay. But you say that, hey, I know how to use Teams. Then our next question will be, you know how to use Teams to do up to what level? And if you say that you are able to use Teams to organize events like what we're doing now, virtual events that involve hundreds of people, then we can say, yeah, I think we're interested in you. And if you go forward to say that, no, I'm actually also have the expertise to do data-driven analytics, using it to support decision-making, then we say, then we'll be very interested in you. Okay, so now the part about analytics and data-driven decision-related values that is still of very good use. So now for all of you who are here trying to look and so-called discover further in analytics, if other conditions meet, to me is a good way to go forward, to differentiate yourself from a lot of other people. Okay, this was a set of survey results that was released less than 2 weeks ago in Singapore. So, you know, Singapore government pays a lot of emphasis in the skills upgrading of the citizens. So there's this, what we call a skills future program. And in this program, every citizen who is more than 25 years old, so far from 2015 until now, they've been given $500 plus $500 for them to look out for courses and upgrade themselves in terms of skills and all those. So this is a set of results that is released less than 2 weeks ago for the digital economy. Okay, this set of results is for the digital economy. So you look at the data, technology application. Of course, to see this literally, technology application is the highest, 313. This technology application is what you can relate to my earlier part, is the essential part of things, not the value part of things. Application means how to use Teams, how to use 365, how to use Zoom. This application, how to use the SAP ERP. This is technology application. The one that's colored light blue, these are data analytics, quite direct data analytics roles. Okay, these are. And then those that is colored a bit darker, these are what I call subset of data analytics or related to data analytics. Okay, these numbers that you see is not the number of jobs available, but it's the number of roles, okay, that is classified into all these different categories. So it represents the number of roles. So let's look at it. Look at the figures further. So data analytics related. Those that is directly related, the light blue one is 379 actually. more than this 313. And then those that is colored a bit darker blue is actually 212. If we add them out, it's 591. So 591 is actually 31%, or it's 1/3, okay, of the total roles that has been identified here. The total roles that have been identified here is actually, all this adds up is actually 1886. So out of close to 1,900 roles, close to 600 roles are data analytics related, which is a heavy 30%. So from this angle, you look at it, I think you're on the right track. Okay, but my next question is that if this survey was done earlier on, let's say 1 year ago, or even 2 years ago, do you think the numbers would be like that? Okay, the answer is likely no. It will definitely be lesser. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's substantially lesser. The question then is why? Okay, the question why, we can address it by the next view of data analytics. Okay, like I call it the developmental and readiness view. Okay, like many things in life, things are progressive. Same for things in business. Okay, so whether or not a certain technology or discipline is being taken up depends on how ready the people and the organization is. At what state are they? Okay, so this particular chart is a bit more digestible because it doesn't use all those bombastic technical terms. Okay, so when you look at it, they say, okay, chaos. Chaos is when actually your data is everywhere, and every report you do is a new report, all that kind of station. So an organization will take this kind of path, or as they get better, then they improve on the thing. So in this case, they are using words like chaos all the way to developing alignment, integration, and optimize, and that's where the organization can move up the ladder. So this particular view, I call it the organization readiness view. So 2 years ago, genetically the environment out there, at best, it may be only developing. Okay, and as a result, the numbers may be much lesser. But in today's context, because of COVID, because a lot of things has gone digital, and data becomes very increasingly important. So suddenly there's an acceleration. And as a result of that, a lot of people may be now going to this state of alignment and going into a state of integration. So as a result, you look at it, 1/3 of the job roles is data analytics related. All this one view. Okay, the final view that I want to share with you all is something that I relate to a lot more. So this is what I call a maturity and outcome view. Okay, what this view says is that it looks analytics from the angle of experiential maturity, whether the use is ad hoc, opportunistic, repeatable, or managed or optimized. And very important thing, like what I said from the very beginning, analytics is to eventually derive a certain outcome. So this particular view actually has a focus on the outcome. Or you look at it, there's all this outcome. Later you go to recording, then you can look at the small wordings. I won't talk a lot on this. Okay, the other thing that attracted my attention in this thing is actually efficiency today, empowerment tomorrow. So efficiency today is synonymous to what I mentioned about things that is essential. At best, it's about task and productivity. But tomorrow means, actually this report was in 2015. Now it's already 8 years. Okay, but you look at the level of data analytics adoption, honestly, to tell you, it's very low. Okay, so in today's context, the tomorrow can still refer to today and tomorrow. Okay, so the tomorrow is about empowerment, and empowerment is about insights and experience. From a very simple angle, right? The best way to empower yourself is actually with knowledge. And as you go through life and go through businesses and go through so-called hardship or whatever, that's where you gain your experience. And this is something that will continuously be of value. Also, that's empowerment. And last but not least, this one also have this eventual stage, which is called the ideal state. You reach an optimized, or what I call an operationalized manner. Meaning now you don't use analytics as by the way or at outlay. You are able to use analytics on a more widespread manner and in a day-to-day basis. Now this is what we call by operationalized. Sorry. So far, any questions? Anyone want to have a short discussion here at this point in time? Okay, so after saying so much about data analytics, the next magic question I want to ask, can data analytics alone deliver final desired outcomes? Okay, for this, I want to use the Squid Game, one of that scene as an example. So let's look at what is this thing. Okay, everybody has watched the Squid Game, right? Or minimum have heard about it, right? So I assume that. So in this Squid Game, one of the particular game is about the tug of war. Okay, so let me play this snippet first, this small video, and then after that we can do some discussion related to the question that I asked, can analytics alone deliver the final outcomes? Let me play this one.
Having a good leader is very important.
Okay, don't be surprised it's in English because it's already transcribed in English. Okay, which is better for everybody also. So you all can hear, right? Can you all hear? The sound is there. Okay, that's good.
Can.
Okay, so let me expand it. At the same time, let me play at the normal. Don't play normal speed. We don't have the time. I play 1.25. So based on the tension.
Important for the first 10 seconds. You have to hold your ground. You should lean back, practically lie down. Push your lower abdomen up to the sky as hard as you can, and throw your head back to the point where you can almost see the groin of the person behind you. If you do that, the other team won't be able to pull us to their side.
Okay, here you hear there's a leader, and this leader is the old man 001. So he's sharing the strategy. Okay, based on we don't know what and probably based on certain experience that he has and how to play this game. So he's actually strategizing and giving instruction to the team on how they should be playing this entire game. Let's carry on. Okay, so his strategy is that hold on as long as you can, but you have to catch the moment. Okay, catch the moment where the enemies leap, and then you must quickly take advantage of that moment. Let's listen further. So up to this point, the old man strategy works. They actually caught the moment and they managed to pull the other side over. But the other side managed to recover and they reversed the situation. So at this instance, the next leaders stood up. So the next leader said, let's take 3 steps forward and then again catch the moment and pull back. Let's see what is the outcome. So the second strategy, catching the second moment, also worked. Okay, so in this entire process, at which part is data being used? Anybody see, is there any data being used? Okay, the answer is likely no. It's actually a lot based on the experiences of at least the old man and then the second leader that stood up. So they have probably seen some of these things before, or for the matter, they may have even probably engaged in this kind of type of war. And to them, in their knowledge, this is the formula for winning. Or they may have relied on certain data, and that those data may have said that over 90% of the time, this strategy works. So that's why they are now applying it in this life and death situation. But predominantly, when we look at this whole thing, we don't feel that data features importantly during this to life and death moments. So what does that mean for us in data analytics? So this whole short video shows us the experience about situation and critical catching the crucial moment to win against a stronger team. Okay, and how was this done? Okay, for my notion is that this particular thing, data really didn't feature. So from what I want to say here is that data actually tells us the facts. Or data tells us the facts. Okay, but only with validation from contextual experiences will the truth be known. Okay, but in the absence of either, meaning if you don't have data or you don't have experience, you have only one of them, then whatever you have becomes the most important thing that you can rely on. But more often than not, experience is the one that makes the final course. More often than not. In this situation, you look at it, a lot is actually based on the experience. Okay, but nevertheless, data insights are still very important basis of evidence. But if you have the experience to put on top of that, then the quality of your final call will be a lot better. And conversely, if you have experience only, but you can have data, then the decision that you make based on the experience will also be much better. So this is the notion. And with this notion, that's where I want to talk about what is this insights and experience-based execution. So far we have covered, we've talked a lot about importance of data, but we just show that experience is, at the end, looks like experience is the ultimate. So if that's the case, then I say that in order to deliver your desired outcomes, data analytics is not sufficient. Data insight is not sufficient. There must always be the experience part. And vice versa, you have experience, if you don't have data part, it's also not complete. Also, this is a notion of insights and experiences-based execution. And how do I define it? Okay, in short form, I call it INEBE. So it is the analytical slice and dice data insights validated with contextual experiences and vice versa, and operationalized. Okay, vice versa is important. I mentioned before, if you have data, then it's ideal. You also have, if you have the experiences as well. But if you have experiences, it's also ideal if you have the data as well. Okay, when you talk to people, you realize that there's one camp that always believe that I only believe in data. Okay, this camp of people is typically the technical people, very technical people, and those that look a lot about it. To them, they say, okay, I only believe in data. But there's also another camp that only believe in experiences. Okay, this camp, a lot of them are from the SMB and medium-sized companies, and they have already brought their business to a certain level. And they, based on their feelings, their experiences, and their circumstantial reaction, and they brought their business to the whatever level they are in. So they have a lot of confidence in that experience. So to them, what is this bullshit about data? Okay, I'm able to develop up to this stage without looking a lot into data. So the articulation is that, yes, if you only believe in data, that's very good and very fine. But if you have the experience part, that's ideal. Similarly, if you have only experience part, if you have the data part, you can leverage a lot more to improve whatever they are doing and whatever you are doing for your organization. Also, as a result, both are important. And data is used, analytics is used for the execution. And in execution, one very important thing is about navigation. Today, if you buy a car without a GPS, then to you, what is this car about? Also, a good car is also a car that comes with a good navigation system. So same for business and organization. When you execute during your organization execution, okay, there should also be a good navigation system. And data analytics is able to provide as a very good navigation system. Okay, I'll push on now. So the notion of INEBE is how do we derive outcome from data or the entire value chain. So this entire value chain is when you start from data, then transforming that information and putting in a context. And after that, then you can derive insights and you get additional experience to put in, then that will ultimately value add into the eventual outcome that you can have. So the most important thing of INEBE is that the start point is about awareness. Awareness from where? Awareness from data. Why awareness is important? Because if you are not even aware, you cannot even think about it. And you cannot think about anything, then there's no way for you to proceed any further. So awareness is a very important start point. And what is the essential endpoint? The essential endpoint is that sustainable, effective outcomes. Oh, you clear? So very simple, starting from awareness to sustainable, effective outcomes. Okay, so this brings me to the last view. Okay, this is the INEB view. Okay, in this view, on the x-axis, I have impact on income, impact on outcomes. On the vertical axis, I have depth on knowledge. So to me, there are three scenarios, three group of scenarios in the way analytics is used today. Okay, the first one is deep but narrow. Deep but narrow will be things like people go deep using a lot of big data that goes deep into a certain subject matter. For example, Bin Cheng is in medical science. That's why you mentioned you train a lot of data and then look into data for analytical purposes. This is the way that is being used, deep but narrow. But unfortunately, this deep but narrow perspective is the one that many people understood data analytics is. And because it's deep and narrow to many people, why it's so technical and so difficult. So as a result, a lot of people don't dare to even touch it. Okay, the other one is what I call shallow and narrow. Shallow and narrow is like a lot of us, the way you use Excel. Okay, for example, if I pose a question now to the participants here, if I ask you a question, do you know how to use Excel? Can you put in the chat now? You put R3. If you know how to use Excel, you put me. Or R3, if you know how to use Excel, you put R3-me. Okay, the fourth response. Okay, R4, you put in a statement, R4- what is the most difficult thing that you've done with Excel? R4- and put a statement, what is the most difficult thing that you've done with Excel? So the point I'm trying to put is that Excel has been around for more than 30 years. But up to today, the way Excel that has been used by the majority of people is still at a very shallow level. Okay. So similarly, if analytics doesn't progress, 20 years later, analytics is still at a very shallow level. So what we are proposing is that there should be a certain level that is in between, okay, where it's not so cheap. You don't go and look until so cheap that people don't even dare to start. But at the same time, it's also not so shallow and not so simple. Or it's something that is more difficult than shallow and simple. Also, there's a level that's in between. And because it's a level that is in between and it's comfortable for a lot of people, then as a result, people will use it and people will implement it. So this is what I call enough but widespread. Okay, so the view today is like that. The bubbles is in this kind of sizes. But in 5 years' time, hopefully my projection is it will become something like that. Okay, and the one that has the biggest growth is in the area of enough but widespread. Okay, this part. Okay, and this is the part that the notion of INEBE wants to target and apply. Understand so far? Okay, so if this articulation is that don't be frightened by what you hear up to today. Oh, I know you need big data, you need data scientists, whatever. If you go along the route, you don't even dare to start. But at the same time, do not continue to use it at that same level, shallow and narrow level that you're using with Excel. Okay, do it at a higher level. Okay, and hopefully many of us can reach this particular balance in between. Understand. Okay, so what it is in practice. Also in practice, it can look something like that. As let's say a leader of a company or CEO or something, every day you go to office, you look at something like that. And every time you click one of these square, you will launch reports for you. But these reports are in the way of analytical slice and dice, like what you see, all these graphical things below. Okay, a picture without myself inside, you look something like that. Okay, and then a real life picture will be something like that. This is a live demo. I won't go to the demo, but I just show you. Okay, so when I click, let's say I click this week, these are the web analytics of Readiness. So this is what I see. So this is the report that I see. Do I need people to prepare this report for me? The answer is no. Okay, but I can get this updated. This Power BI, this using Power BI. Power BI allows me to refresh 8 times a day. But of course, I don't need to refresh 8 times a day. So this is what I mean. Okay, so insights and experiences-based execution. Okay, let's come to the final part. Then what is the prerequisite for insights and experiences-based execution, or for the matter, analytics? Okay, first and foremost, if you want to go into analytics, you must have a certain good level of curiosity. Because if you don't have that, there are a lot of things you cannot imagine. And if you can't imagine, you actually cannot analyze properly. The other most important part is that you must have integrity. And this integrity must be able to be trusted. Reason very simple, you're dealing with data. And you're dealing with data of other people. And if people don't trust you, there's no analytics that you can do. No data you can get. Okay, fundamental. Next is that you must not be data averse. What does that mean? That means that when you look at the data, for example, later we go into a short exercise. If you look at the table and then you feel giddy, then you probably not very suitable for analytics. Or meaning you look at numbers, you feel frightened. Well, of course, when you deal with numbers, a lot of details, you need to be meticulous. So this is what I call the baseline. You should seriously think about going to analytics if you meet these two baselines. Okay. Okay, the rest is that I will just step up. What are the things that along the value chain of what I call the insights and experiences-based execution, getting data, organizing, transforming, visualizing. Okay, one very important thing is articulating. Okay, this is something that a lot of people lack also. Okay, there's no point doing all your analysis and after that you cannot tell people what exactly you mean. Also, articulation is something that's very important. And after a proper articulation, then proper decision making can be done. Then after that, planning, operationalizing, and then after that, we're talking about execution. And then with execution, there must always be navigation. And if all these things are done properly, then hopefully you achieve your effective outcomes. Okay, in terms of the value, okay, the value goes up, okay, as you move up this pyramid. You see value upscaling, the arrow goes up. Also, the value goes up in this angle. Okay, this about the last slide they have. There's one more slide they want to show. Okay, so and then what are the tools that you need to do analytics? Okay, analytics is best done with an analytics tool. Okay, when you use application today, let's say you use Google, there are Google Analytics, you use whatever ERP, there will be also some inbuilt analytics that comes with it. Okay, but those are in their own individual style. But if you want to build out an analytics practice, so to speak, then the best is to have an analytical tool. Okay, so for Microsoft, they have a very good proposition. The product is called Power BI. And to do analytics, like just now what I show you, is all using Power BI. And of course, in the process of doing all the data manipulation, cleaning, whatever, Excel is a very, very essential tool. Okay, so for people who knows some other products and wondering is Power BI the best, I'll show you the next chart. Okay, this chart shows that since 2017, okay, the Microsoft Analytics, or in the form of Power BI, has been the leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant, or the leader in the Leaders Quadrant in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So the most recent is actually 2021. You see that Microsoft is the leader in the pack. Okay, so no worries about using Power BI. It's proven and proven year after year. So Power BI is a good platform for us to empower using insights and experiences-based execution. Clear so far? Okay, this is the last slide that I have for the Prezo. I went at a very fast pace. I managed to do it within about 47 minutes. Okay, so I thank myself. Normally I overrun. My habit is to overrun. Okay. Okay, any questions first before I go to the next part about the exercise? Anybody, you can turn on your mic, show your face, or you can even type into the chat. Okay, if not, I'll just push on. Jensen, I'll just push on. Okay, so now we come to the next part where we will do a short exercise. Just now I mentioned to you there's a file Excel file that I put at the very start in the chat. Excel file starting from 211217 and then COVID-19 and then AIESEC. Hopefully by now you have already downloaded that file into your laptop. Okay, so now to continue the Squid Game story. Okay, just now we saw the tug of war. Okay, then the team won. Okay, so now is to play the next game. So what is the next game after tug of war? Okay, game after tug of war. Okay, to do that, I want you all to listen to a small video clip first. Okay, by the way, if I were to ask you, who are the gamers in the Squid Game? Who do you think are the gamers? Anybody? Okay, if you look at it properly, the gamers are that set of very rich Angmo people. There's a back-end drinking with all the girls around them. Those are the gamers. Okay, the characters that you see just now pulling very hard on the tug of war, those are the people that's being played, so to speak. So I call them the players or the characters in the game. So be clear, the gamers are those fat people behind the scene with all the women. Okay. So the picture here, this guy, although he looks like a gamer, but he's not a gamer. Okay. So he's actually Kishore Mahbubani. He's a very renowned ex-diplomat in the United Nations. Of course, he's from Singapore. And he has written quite a number of books, and all those books a lot about world perspective and all that, and then a lot of recognition. So this interview was also done very recently, I think about only 2 weeks ago. Okay. So the next game that we are going to play, okay, is related to this. The next game that we're going to play is, which country would you have wished you have lived in to survive in a major crisis like COVID? The description over here. Which country would you have wished you have lived in to survive a major crisis like COVID? Okay, let me play this video first. Then we carry on.
Earlier this year, Professor, you wrote a column which is featured in this book entitled Singapore.
Can you all hear the speech? Can, okay, good. Let's
a
proceed.
world of anxiety. And that headline rings particularly true today as we consider Omicron and inflationary pressures as well at home and abroad. And you write that though while the pressures are real at times like this, you like to step back and count our blessings. And that sounds like nice advice. We can all use a moment to do that, maybe in our personal lives or even collectively. So tell us, from your perspective, what should we be thankful for?
Well, I mean, if you ask very intelligent, thoughtful people around the world, now that we have seen what it is like to survive a major crisis like COVID-19, which country would you have wished to have lived in now that you have all the data? And statistically speaking,
Okay, so this very renowned diplomat now, he's asking the question. He's saying that if you were to ask very intelligent people, okay, and with all the statistics that they can see and the experiences that they can feel around all the various countries and the reports that they see, which country do you wish that you have lived in the crisis time like COVID? Which country would you have wish you have lived in to survive a major crisis like COVID? Okay. So the game is very simple. This exercise we are going to do is very simple. And this exercise later on you will go back and then develop it and come up with your own story analysis, your scenario, putting in your experiences, whatever, and submit it as the hackathon. Okay, so the rules of the game is like that. Okay, this secret intent. Okay, this secret intent, you as a player, you're not supposed to know. But for this person, we will let you know. So what is the scenario now? Okay, there's a twist to the circumstances. Okay, the Squid Game Island now is in a dire COVID situation. Worse than many countries, worse than Indonesia, sometime back, whatever. Infection rate is more than 50%, and the death rate is also 50%. Okay, so the organizers, the people who are living in the island, and plus all these rich gamers, now they have decided they want to abandon the island. But if they abandon the island, then where best can they go? Okay, so this where best can they go? They want all these players, meaning the characters, those that has been played now, the team that has won the tug of war, and whoever else. Okay, they want them to come up with the recommendation. And at the same time, the gamers and the organizers want to maximize their own survival. So in order to maximize their own survival, they want to make sure that only the most trusted and stringent selection of the best country to go will be made. And because they don't want to just choose one, because one is too risky, they want to choose 5. Okay, and to hedge their bet, they want these 5. Okay, you propose that I go to this country, then you come along. Okay, they don't want them to, so that if they die, the people also die with them. Okay, so only the most trusted and stringent selection of best country to go will qualify. And the 5 winning players or the characters will go along with them as hostages. Also, this is the secret background behind the game. But of course, in Squid Game, we know that they never tell the players the background. Every game they play, they never tell them the background. But in this instance, we tell you the background. Okay, so what to do? Justify with insights and experiences-based execution. Okay, so now you have won the tug of war. Okay, now you go to the next game. The next game is called INEBE. Okay, and then the best 5 players will get ticket to depart with the Squid Gamers to that country to continue the game. Also, the 5 who are selected, you move together with the gamers and the organizers to the other country. And after that, then you play your final game among the 5 of you. Okay, all those that are not selected now, so other than these 5, the rest will all be abandoned in the Squid Island. Okay, and then to be left to die of COVID. So this is a scenario. Okay, so now we take it as there's a final briefing before the game starts. Also, the Squid Game, which country? I will repeat that. Okay, you apply insights and experience-based execution. And then kind enough to give you 3 game tokens. Okay, the first game token, okay, is this Worldometer website. This Worldometer website has been capturing the daily updates from countries about their status of COVID, reporting the number of deaths, whatever. Okay. Also, this one site, and this is the site. I click on this one to show the site. So this is the Worldometer site. Oh, it's a live site. And within this site, there's this table. Okay. So this table has all the countries that reported the cases. And here you can see the various so-called fields or parameters that they capture in this particular report. The cases, the number, whatever. Okay. So in the Excel file that has been given to you and that PowerPoint instruction given to you to how to get the data. Okay, basically, okay, later I'll show you. Basically, we are going to connect up to this site, to this particular table, okay, and download this data into the Excel. Okay, which I already downloaded in the sample that I've given you in the chat box just now. Okay, so this is one token. Okay, the next token is about vaccination because very key role, the vaccination is playing a very key role. So the next set of data that we will get is the vaccination status. Okay, so this is a website, just to show you the website. Also, this website is called Our World in Data. Okay, when you do analytics, these are some of the very good websites that you can go to. Okay, and there's one particular website called the GitHub. Okay, later on when you see the URL, there's one part called GitHub. GitHub is one of the global sites that actually has a lot of global data for people to reference. Okay, it's downloadable and all that, but of course you must know how to do all those things. Okay, so in this case, the vaccination, there's this table. So this table, you see they show you the vaccination rate of all the different countries. Okay, but this table is not similar to just now the table. This table, you can't connect to this table and pull the data down. I've tried, but it's not successful. Okay, but there's a separate data file in the form of a CSV that we can actually connect and pull it down. Okay, so this particular data file is in this URL. Okay, so if you look at the Excel that I've given to you, I've connected to this site directly to download the data from that table, and then I will connect to this particular data file, okay, to pull down the information, the data on vaccination. Okay, so these 2 tokens is for you to use for your challenge. And also, we are going to do the exercise, a short exercise later. And because remember I said that the people, the gamers and the organizers want to maximize their own survival. So in this case, they also said, okay, they allow you to use whatever other data that you have or you can find. Okay, and of course, using whatever other experiences that you may have. Because what they want to do is that they want to make sure that you are giving them the best proposal to go to the best country for them to survive. Okay, so other than these 2 files that I've given you, these 2 data set that I've given you, you can go and look at whatever site that you may have come across and how you want to use those data and all that. Okay, you must use these 2. Well, these 2 definitely need to use, but then you can use other supporting data as well from whatever site. For those who are quite good already in doing all this data and all that, you probably know what to do. Okay, so this is the rules of the game. Understand so far? Anyone want to clarify anything? Okay, if not, let's go straight into this is the slide I think Jen Chen has sent to you yesterday. Okay, so if not, let's go straight into the the exercise. Okay, so what do you do now? Okay, you should have already downloaded the file just now, the Excel file down there, or that I given to you. Okay, so okay, let me also do this. So for me, okay, the Excel file I have. Okay, for me, I put it into my this directory. This particular file you should have. Okay, so you just open up this file. Okay, now I go a bit into Excel. Sorry, who is quite good at Excel? Don't mind you volunteer yourself in the chat box if you feel that you're quite good at Excel. You want to say, yeah, it's me. And anybody? Okay, how come no response on? Okay, okay, never mind. Okay, so in the file, okay, these two files that I've given you is actually in the raw form. Okay, if you have used just now this slide earlier on, you have gone through this step. I'll go to menu, data, get data. Oh, this is what I meant. You go to Excel, then you go to the data part here. Then under this data part, there's this from web. Okay, so you click this from web, then dialog box will come up. So they ask for me for the URL. So this URL will be the first one that I'm talking about. Let me put it into the non-preso mode. So you just copy this for you. You just copy this, copy, Control C, go back here, you just paste this here. Okay, I won't put OK because when you put OK, you start to download and do not know whether you'll be stuck or lag over there. So it will not. Okay, so you just follow it. If you click OK, then you will start to pull the data from just now the table that I've shown you. Okay, I will not cancel this. Okay, but this is the result after they pull the data. You will get in the tab here, the worksheet tab here, called a table 2. And then you will get a table here populated. Okay, and this table, you look at it, these are the fields that you see just now in the table. Oh, remember this, all this, let me revert back to the I see this is the live one, and also I have this over here. So basically this table that you see here is this table. Is this table. Oh, okay. So you see the number here is 273, the word 273. But ours is only 271. Why is 271? Because this thing is downloaded yesterday. Okay. So this table actually is live. So for example, now I want to get the latest figures. So I can come here and do a refresh. Also, so you notice here. Let me shift this. Let me do a screen cap of this first. I do a screen cap. So you see the number here is 271. 271. So now if I click a refresh. So you notice at the bottom here, they're running the query background. I do not know how long it take. It's supposed to take just a few seconds, but I do not know. Let's see. So same for the vaccination. So vaccination, you go to the same table, okay, and then in your Excel, you go to a new sheet, then you go and then you say same, you get data from web. So the same URL dialog will come up. So here, now you paste in this second URL. Oh, you notice there's a CSV behind, meaning this is a data file CSV. And this CSV is located in the web. So you just paste this here, and if you put OK, then you start to download all that CSV file into here. Okay, I won't download, you just cancel. So the result for the vaccination, after you do those steps, you'll get another table, which is this table. Okay, I will go into detail. Let's go back to this. You see, the refresh has completed. So you notice now the number is 272. All the number here is 272. Let me do a bigger view. Sorry. Sorry, is everybody following? So now you see the number here is 272. The earlier number here is actually 271. So you notice that this connection that is created is actually a live connection. And to get the latest result, assuming the site has been updated, you just come in and do a refresh, and your date on your table here will be refreshed correspondingly. Okay. So similarly for the vaccination one, so you do a refresh, then the thing will come up. Okay, so now let's go into some of the initial things that we can do with this table. Okay, for example, now let's look at this table 2 first. This table that's from here. This table 2. Okay, remember just now I went through the flow of what are the things that is to do when you do this INEBE. This one. Okay, I mentioned getting data. So this getting data is exactly what we've done now. Now we got the data and we have got the data. Okay, and I say that after getting data, what do? You need to appreciate. So after getting the data, actually don't straight away jump into wanting to do things. You must look at this set of data and do some study about what exactly this data is about. Firstly, in terms of what? In terms of the information that's given you. So in this case, you see that there's a country code, and then there's a total cases, new cases, total death, new death, and so on and so on. Okay, and you notice that only the country code is the one that is in so-called alphabet. The rest are numbers. Okay, so in analytics, it's very important that there has to be numbers, so that you can do computation and formula using those numbers. Okay, so now when you study this file, you say, okay, yes, it's country, and then for each country there are several parameters that indicate the status of the COVID situation. Okay, but when you look at these numbers, the next thing you need to do is that to verify what is the format of each of the field. For example, you know that this needs to be a text field. Okay, and those that is in numbers, in order for you to do computation, they need to be in a numeric format. Okay, so now your suspicion is that, are these numbers in a numeric format? Also, some testing you can do is that you try to change the format now. Try to change it into some numeric format. So in this case, I put here, I want to change to accounting with 2 decimal place with a $sign. I click OK. You notice, the number changed suddenly, but how come the $sign didn't come up? So actually you have some suspicion. And you look at the alignment, you also say, how come normally numbers are aligned to the right rather than to the left? So okay, in order to verify a suspicion, you need to do some data cleansing from where the source is being given. So when you put the data down, Excel definitely need to do something. There must be some computational step before the data can be put down into Excel. Okay, so in order to do this, okay, every get data that you do is actually in the form of a query. Okay, so where do you see this query? I'll go back to the data menu. Okay, and in this data menu, there are these queries and connection. Okay, in this case, when we pull the data down, we actually do a connection and then pull down the data. Okay, so there's a connection. So we just click here, and on the right side, then you start to see, okay, there will be a column that comes up to show you, okay, actually, there are two connections in this file, which is correct because we do one connection to one set of data and do connection to the vaccination set of data. Also, the queries are here. So here now, you need to go into the query to change the format of these fields. Okay, so how to edit this query? You do a right click, and then there's an edit. So you click edit. Sorry, I do not know how many of you are following. For those who know Excel quite well, you probably is able to follow. For those who can't, doesn't matter. You go and watch the recording, and then I think if necessary, we may do a separate session now, organize a separate session next week or week after next to run through a bit of these things. Okay, so when you go inside, they launch you another view. Okay, this view is what we call the Power M query view. Okay, do you know that in Excel alone, there are actually 5 different programming languages? Or the most basic one that most of us use is actually the Excel formula. You go to one cell, you type equals to A1 plus B1. This is the Excel formula. And for those who know pivot table, you know that in pivot table, you can create things that call calculated fields. And for those who have done macros before, you know that you can do macros. And macros, the backend of macros is actually Visual Basic. Also, you can actually write your Visual Basic and put it as a macro, or you do a recorded macro and then go in and amend the statements on Visual Basic. And then now we come to this view. In this view, there's another programming language, which we call the Power M language. Okay, I will not go into the details. Okay, and then if you know how to do data modeling under Power Pivot, under data modeling, then there's another language called the DAX, the Data Analytics Expressions. Also, basically, in total, there are about 5 different so-called languages in Excel alone. Okay, so I will not go into detail, this is just the intro. So now our priority is more to, in order that we can proceed forward, is to change the format of these fields. So now when you look at it, look at the first row, which is the column name row. You notice there's a tag behind ABC, 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 ABC. So you notice that when they actually got the data in, they have automatically identified all the fields as a text field, which of course you know that is not relevant. Only the country field is supposed to be a text field. Only this is supposed to be text. The rest should be number field. Okay, but doesn't matter. You can change it. Okay, so you notice that on the right here actually record the step. Okay, that is being done to get the data in up to this state time. So the first statement is the source. That's where we provide the URL, then we pull down. The second stage is some navigation. And after that, after this navigation step, this table appears. So now we can actually continue the next step to change our data type. So in this case, we know that this column, sorry, let's do this column first. Okay, this is now actually formatted as text. We want to change it to something else. Okay, so now you go to here. The best thing is that you go to transform. Then under transform, there's this data type. So you click this data type, then you can choose a data type. So in this case now, let's choose decimal number. So you notice now there's some movement all now justified to the right, and then on top here, the indicator becomes 1.2. 1.2 means it's a numeric decimal number. Okay, so similarly, we do for the rest of the other numeric column. You can just highlight all of this. Okay, and then same go to transform text to change it to a decimal number. So now you see the numbers all shift. Okay, so one day is done, you say, okay, you're happy with it, you just go to home, and then you say close and load. And close and load will bring you back to your data table. or taking a while. You see down there, they show you they are running a backend query. Because they have made some changes, okay, they are backend processing it. How much time we have left? We are now 50. Wow, we have almost spent about. Oh, so you see, now you look at the numbers, they are now all justified to the right. Okay, there are some 7 errors here. Okay, we don't want to care about this at this point in time. But at least now you know that all the numeric fields that need to be numeric now has been converted. Okay, but the next thing you want to do is that, okay, it not very easy to see because they are all in different length and all that. So the next thing you want to do, it can be, you just want to try and change the formatting. So you just do a right click and then go format cells. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I will just choose accounting. It's not a dollar value, so I take away the dollar sign, just put it into no decimal point, then okay. Then now you see the data is organized in a more lookable way, so to speak. Okay, so now with this, okay, you have done some cleaning of your basic raw table. So the next step for you to be able to make some sense out of this set of data, okay, one of the simplest thing to do is to create a pivot table. Okay, so to create a pivot table is very simple. You come to any part of this table. This is what we call an Excel table. This is not a pivot table. This is only called an Excel table. Okay, so to do a pivot table, is just come to any part, any cell of this table. Then you go to insert. The menu on top, you put insert. Then you put insert pivot table. Okay, then you just click pivot table. Okay, so once you click, Excel is intelligent enough. They know that you are in part of a table and they recognize the whole table. Then they say, okay, your table range, where your data is coming from. Then they automatically choose for you this entire table called table 2. So in this case, you want the pivot table to appear in a new worksheet. So you just leave it. There's a new worksheet here. Okay, there's a dot. You just click the dot. So once that is done, you just click OK. So when it's OK, you notice a new sheet is created. Okay, so here for easy recognition sake, maybe we put here, recognize this as a PT. PT means pivot table. We just put table 2. So that we know this pivot. So here they give you an empty box. So in this empty box, now it's for you to populate, okay, the information and the data that you want. So to populate on the right side, you see this particular matrix here. Okay, one of the very basic about data analytics is about what is dimension, what is matrix. Okay, dimension is something that you want to have data where you can calculate on. Okay, so in this case, very clearly the dimension is actually the country. Country is a dimension. So you pull country down into the rows here. So the rows here is for you to put in your dimension. And next is the matrix. The matrix is something that you can do a mathematical formula on, meaning something that you can calculate. Okay, so in this case, the things that you can calculate in this table are actually all these numbers. Okay, so that being the case in the pivot table, then you say, okay, so down here represents the dimension, down here represents the matrix. So you can pull down what value you want to compute into this box, so-called the matrix. So in this case, that just pull in, we just pull in all the values. So in the meantime, can I have an indication who is not able to follow? Put it in the chat box. Anybody not able to follow? Okay, you notice now I put in and automatically Excel tells me, okay, the thing that I will put in, I will give you a sum, the word sum summation. Okay, so they after you put this in, they automatically by default they give you as a summation. Okay, so what you can see now is that now your pivot table, they have given you all the values, and these values are a summation. Okay, but of course, when you look at the data table, okay, you look at the nature of that piece of data. For example, now let's go back to table 2. Okay, total cases. Okay, total cases based on every country, it makes sense to sum. Then that's okay. Summation applies. Okay, same for new cases, total there, all these summation is logical. Okay, but for cases like total cases per 1 million population, a summation is actually not very appropriate. Okay, so for this case where there's per something per 1 million, maybe aggregate call a maximum, minimum, or an average, or makes more sense. Also, because if that's the case, then we say, okay, in this table now, under table 2, what do you do? Okay, under show few list, under the per million one, okay, instead of sum, I want to change it to you go to this value field setting, you change it to, let's say, average. Okay, so now the number that we reflect there is actually an average. So we do the same for the others, that is 1 million. Or we do an average. Anyone else? There's one more. No more, there are only 2. Okay, so for these 2 particular fields, we actually do it as an average. Okay, so similarly, you want the number to look better, go and do change the format. In this case, I go back to accounting. So the numbers are now better. Okay, so in a pivot table, you can do things like, for example, now Afghanistan. So you know that this one is in ascending order of the country name. Or you want to sort it into descending order, you can do it descending order. Okay. If you, let's say, you just want to look at a few countries, let's say you don't want to look at all, you just want to look at some selected countries, you just want to click, and then you put, then only the selected countries. Okay, the other thing that you need to pay attention in this table is that they are actually numbers that are so-called, they are the world numbers, So a world number, you know that you cannot add into the total, then you'll be double counting. Okay, so there's also Asia number, there's also US, whatever Europe number. So you know that those number in a way is duplicated. So when you look at the table, look at the data, you must be able to capture all those things and be able to say that, okay, whether this is appropriate or not appropriate. Okay, so that's how we can do. So similar here, you want to look at which country has the most number of cases. You can actually just sort here. You sort by largest to smallest. So you notice that in the data set, there's a total for world, Asia, whatever. Okay, and then the actual country actually starts here from India. Also, when you sort like that, it tells you which country has the most number of cases. So when you want to recommend which is the best country to go, so all this becomes important consideration. And of course, the other important consideration is the total number of deaths. So here, same, you want to sort based on which country has the most number of deaths. Also, when you are making the recommendation of which country to go, you have got to look at each of these few and which one the data is so-called important, and you want to put them into consideration. Okay, so this is some of the simple analysis that you can do. Okay, today the purpose is not to teach you how to use pivot table, because the basic assumption is that most of you will have already have certain knowledge on how to use the Excel. Okay, so the important thing here is that study the data, and based on the condition that is given, the purpose that is intended to choose the best country to go to. Okay, what are these fields that make more sense? Okay, that you think is important to put into your evaluation criteria. Oh. So for this table, I'll just talk until here. Huh? So now let's look at vaccination. So you know that after all the COVID cases, the next important thing is actually vaccination. So vaccination is the next set of very important data for you to consider which is the best country to go to. Okay, but now you look at this table, like what I said, when you get the data, before you know how to start the work, you must look at what is inside this table. So inside this table, you notice that when you put it down, how come the column heading is all column 1, column 2, column 3, you know? Do you notice that column 1, column 2, column 3? Okay, but then you notice that but the next row actually is the actual field name, you know, that you wanted. Or is the actual field name that you wanted. Then because of this, you say, hey, how can I get that first row to become my column name? So if that's the case, the same thing, let's go back to this, the query part. Let's go back and do some edit to the column, to the query. So you do an edit, it launches us back into this query format. Okay, so now you notice, it's true, you know, column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until don't know what. But now you want to, how do you elevate this first row into the column name? Also, there's a function on top. You go to home. So go to home, you notice there's this use first row as headers. Okay. So in this particular query, so far they have only done one step, and that single step is to pull the data down. And after that, there's no subsequent step. So now if we want to put that first row as the column header, then you go there, then you say, okay, use first row as header. Then you see what happened. The first row now is not promoted into the header. Understand? So now, okay, a bit more sensible. And similar to just now the case, but everything here is so-called identified as a text, which is not appropriate. So similarly here, now you want to put all those fields that are supposed to be numbers into a number format. So same here, you go and highlight. Yeah. Well, let's do for this one first, in case later miss again. So you notice this one now all converted to numeric format. Okay, let's do it for the rest of the columns. Highlight. Decimal number. Okay, so all the number fields we have taken care. But you notice that there's also one important column called the date. Okay, but this date they also recognize as alphabet, which is no good. So you also want to change this into a date format. So you also change this to a date format. Okay, so basic data you have now correct into the format that you wanted. So fine, okay, that's cool. So let's load. So they will take a while to re-query. So bingo. Now, okay, they are all into the correct format. Okay, the important thing that you need to do, because when you scroll, you see that, how come the header run and all that. So one good thing that I always do is that I freeze the panes. So how do you freeze the panes? You go to the cell that you want to freeze. And then you go to the cell, and then you go to view. And then under view, you can choose the freeze the panes. And once you freeze the panes, so now you notice when you scroll, okay, there's always a top and left column for you to refer. Okay. So now actually the basic step of cleaning your data is done already. So now again, you have to look at each of these columns to see what data is relevant for you to evaluate which country is best to go to. Okay, and similarly with this, you also want to create a pivot table so that you can do more things. Okay, so far, understand who is not following. Or I think there's a Jane who mentioned she's not able to follow. How about the rest? Okay, up to this stage, I have shown you only the very basic cleaning the basic data and creating a pivot table. I won't go and create a vaccination pivot table. Okay, this is something that you need to go back and do yourself. Okay, but the difference between this table 2, the one with the COVID cases and the vaccination cases, one very important difference is that you notice this vaccination table, in total, there are actually 68, almost 69,000 rows. Okay, the reason why there's 69,000 rows because the daily data is inside. Okay, so for example, you look at this Zimbabwe. So for Zimbabwe alone, the date, don't know from when until when is actually captured. So that means every day they capture a row for Zimbabwe, and same for the rest of the countries. Okay, so now this set of data, when you look at it, you know that the significance is you need to total up the daily numbers. Okay, the daily numbers you need to, for example, you need to know the daily number for each of the country so that you can total up the total number of the world, for example. Or for the matter, you want to total up the total number for ASEAN. Or if you want to compare countries between ASEAN. Or you want to it can be Europe, it can be whatever. Okay, so I think for those who understand data and those who have done something on some projects, doing pivot table and doing some pivot charts and all that, you will probably understand what needs to be done. Okay, sorry, so far, anybody, any questions? Is it something that is manageable or is it something that is pretty difficult? Oh, good, good. Hey, Jane, very good, no, Jane? Now you say that interesting. That's good.
Yeah, Trinity, I also I think it's very interesting, and also like some of the students actually ask questions in the Slido. So
Okay,
I think
that's good.
we can answer a few questions in the
Can.
Slido.
Can. That's good, yeah.
So
are you okay with this, Chin Beng? Win Cheng, because since you mentioned that you are doing medical science and then you're also looking into a lot of data. Is this something that's difficult for you? No, right? Cannot
I
be.
think like the pivot table and the filters, I mean the features is quite good lah. Like I think I can extract maybe the data that I want to have in my courses . Yeah, but I think for the overall flow, I would need to revision a few more times so to familiarize with it .
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. But data analysis is actually a very tedious thing. Okay, that's why I mentioned that meticulous attribute is very important. Okay, but if you're able to do that, actually a lot of things, you can know a lot of things from the data. Yes, can we go to the first question?
Yep, sure. I think I will be asking the first question. I think it's not towards this working space. I think for the delegate information, the recordings will be sent if possible. Yes. I mean after the event. So if let's say you think you need a revision, feel free to refer to the video. So I'll be starting asking the questions lah. Okay. So the first questions that appear in the Slido, right? There's a few, so I will pick few only lah. So it's like I'm not an analyst analyst students, but I feel the session is very informative. It kind of gives me more interest in this part. So could you share me some of the resources for me? Yeah, basically it's asking the resources from Trinity or even like where we can get this kind of informations.
Okay,
Yeah.
first question is that the person who asked the question, okay, what kind of profile are you? For example, what kind of subjects do you study? I can't. I lost your voice.
Okay.
Mm.
I think the questions didn't specify like where the person come from, but I think is it possible to share like maybe general one? For example, they study in nutrition, they study in like biomedical science, or even they study other course. Yeah, so just asking whether where we can get this kind of resources.
Okay, the question is very broad. So maybe I ask from the angle of is he or she looking at the data part, or is she looking at the analysis part? Okay, there are two separate things. For certain big organization, they can have people that churn all the data and present it. And after presented the data, then the separate group of people, the decision-making people, they look at what they present, they ask certain questions, they slice and dice here and there, and then from there they do the analysis, and then they form their so-called decision. Okay, so he or she is looking at how to do the data part, or how to do that what I call the insights, experience, and outcome part. Okay, if it's the data part, then the basic question that I want to ask is that, okay, starting from, okay, what is the level of skill in Excel? Meaning if he or she can describe to me what is the most complicated thing that he or she has used Excel for now. Okay, and if it's this data part, and if about knowledge of how to use Excel, how to use Power BI and all that, then that part is probably a bit simpler. You can go and either learn yourself, okay, or you can go and attend some courses, or you can go and if there's a good coach that's available there, then you can go and learn, have that coach and then teach you as you progress and show you some of the tricks. Okay. What we are going to do now, we haven't put all those programs up. Okay, but my intention is that after some of this session, when we get a better appreciation of the levels of the people and all that, going ahead, most likelihood we want to organize some coaching sessions. Okay, and then people can come in and join, and then they ask their questions. Okay, of course, on top of that, we can complement with some very structured, very syllable based. Okay, this lesson will teach you this. Okay, so but different people have different levels. So we'll probably do in two combination. One is that some structured lesson to teach you how to do this, do this. Okay, then the other set is that on a coaching perspective, people come in, or they raise their question. They want to say, hey, can you show me how to do this, do this? Can you show me how to do this, do this? So that will be another avenue that we're looking at. Okay, so again, today we are talking about Excel. Excel itself actually is a very powerful tool already to do some form of analytics. Okay, but what Excel is not so good is that it's not good at that visual presentation. Okay, it's very good for you to have tables, to have pivot tables, but when you come to do the charting, Excel has a certain limitation. And when the data set gets a bit bigger, you know that sometimes it's a bit laggy and it's a bit more difficult to manage. So in place of that, then we say, okay, then use Power BI. And the good thing about Power BI is that actually Power BI and Excel is almost identical. Okay, except that Power BI has a lot more of those visualization capabilities. They can have all the different bars. They can have other things like the tree map, the word map, whatever, a lot of other visualization. Okay, so Power BI is a very graphical presentation, whereas Excel is a very tabular presentation. But Excel is a very good tool for you to do what? For you to do data cleaning, for you to test out some of your formulas. okay, for you to do a lot of master tabling. Now, for example, a list of countries. For example, now we have one whole list of Afghanistan, whatever, A to Z. And then you may think that, okay, I want to organize this country to who is Asia, who is ASEAN, who is Europe, who is North America, who is Africa. Then you may have a separate table that defines, so Africa will be this country, Europe, this country, this country, this country. And based on that, at a more advanced stage, then you have table 1 that is organize people into the different continents. Then table 2, the original table is all the countries. Then a more advanced step is that you put the 2 tables together and then you do a relationship. Meaning you link the country name from one table to the other table. And because there's a link, then you're able to say, oh, in this table, when you talk about Afghanistan, or Afghanistan is Middle East. Okay. So that's how the tables come into play. And Excel is a very good platform for you to create some of these master tables. And when you use Power BI, there's actually a lot of references that you can do, a lot of data that you can pull from Excel, especially on all these master tabling. I'm not sure whether I answer the person's question. Resources, there are a lot of resources in the web actually. Okay, there are a lot of videos, small clip, 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes to teach you how to do certain things and all that. Okay, but if it's something that is a more structured format, then you probably want to go into a more structured kind of course. Okay, but the way I look at it, the best approach is for those people who is already in it. But when you do, you probably for certain situation, how to use this, what's the best way to do this and all these sort of things. The coaching approach, I think, will be very useful. Oh. But these are the things that we have not officially offered out yet. But these are the things that we'll be doing downstream.
Okay.
Okay, can we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think since there's like time constraint as well, and then we also consider like some of the students might have like their rest time after 10 p.m. So we will go to the last question. So actually the last question will be, is data analytics analytic work overload? Is like is there any peak time where you have to work or even extract info from data? Yeah.
You are saying peak time meaning what? You're talking about the internet overload or something like that, or what kind of overload?
I think it's like for example, I think the question is like data analytic work overload, which means like maybe they are doing data analytics, but will it be like you have to work 24/7 or even like overload? I mean the workload Yeah.
A very difficult question to answer. It's like if I ask you whatever job you are in, do you need to work overtime? Okay, so the very fundamental answer to the question is that it depends on what you have at hand. Okay, and the urgency of the thing that you have that you need to do. Okay, so for example, let's say now we say that we give you 1 week to come up with your proposal on which is the best country to go to. Okay, so you are given a time frame of 1 week. But if you are able to do it 1 day, then well and fine. But you feel that 1 week also not enough. Then for this week, for the entire week, you may have to work, 18 hours, 16 hours to produce those things. Okay, so the answer to that question is that it's always relative to the circumstances, and in this angle, relative to what is the deadline. So for example, let's say you have in the organization, you have a weekly meeting. And this weekly meeting will look at data and probably some pre-templated data and all that. So if let's say now for the next meeting, the management requested a new template. So you know that the next meeting is next Tuesday, for example. Then of course you have to work to say, okay, I need to get the thing ready by next Tuesday. So that will determine how long you need to work. And of course, how long to need to work also depend on your skill set, your capability in using whatever product and cleaning whatever data and analyzing the data.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
honestly, I'll tell you, analytics like programming and all that, they are tedious work. Okay, because when you go into analytics in a more advanced manner, okay, there's also a fair bit of, I wouldn't say very in-depth programming, but there are still statements that you need to make, logical statements that you need to make. Okay, there's a lot of statement you do, and then you got to look at the output and say, hey, no, this is not what I want. Then you got to change your statement again, you got to change your parameters again, okay, until you get the interpretation that you want. Okay, from the anchor. Okay, but the good way to start on analytics, because if you look in the market, especially let's say you go to the U and people teach you analytics, you say, okay, then after that you do Python programming. Well, jolly hell, you asked me to do Python programming, I'll give up. Because you are telling me to go to basic 1, 2, 3, A plus B equals C, Also, this is a very low level kind of developmental analytics that I'm doing. Okay, but now what we're approaching is that we are saying that, okay, the platform we want to use is Power BI and with Excel. And these two platforms does not focus into very low level programming. The platform itself is providing what we call a low code programming. Meaning hopefully by clicking here and there, selecting your things and all that, generally you can get your things up. And only installation you feel that, oh, this you want to get certain things that is a bit more difficult, a bit more cheap, then you go into your statement programming. And again, this statement programming is within the platform. For example, I mentioned just now in Excel, there are 5 different programming languages. Also, you just need to know these 5 programming languages within Excel, or for the matter within Power BI. You don't need to go into like Pascal programming, what Python and all that, or writing all those statements out for a very, very low level type, as if you are a developer. So you are taking the Power BI approach. You are not a developer per se, but you are considered an advanced user, an advanced user of that particular tool. You know a fair bit of databases, data organization. You know a bit of those programming statements, but you don't need to be a techie per se. You don't need to be a techie per se. Okay, and I thought that is a better approach. Or those very cheap approach, it may be people like you, later on you may need to go to those very cheap approach, because if you are churning numbers for medical science, then you have to go into a very low level programming to get the results that you want. Is the answer okay?
Yeah, I think it should be fine already, because
Yeah.
I think it's answering the question. So I think without further ado, I think we can wrap up a little bit of this piece. So
okay, the next instruction, Bing Chen, you got to brief them this particular hackathon, what time frame they have. And then for us, of course, now we'll show you the basic how to pull the data down and all that, and then the basic Excel table and basic how to do some pivot table. And after that is for the participants to go back and so-called exercise their imagination and come up with what they can do lah. Okay.
Yeah.
I do believe among the participants there could be some power users so they may be able to do a lot of things that will be quite interesting for us to look at. Okay.
Yeah, if let's say I think everyone can be like very proactive to participate in the challenge or even like the homework, because it will like give you practical experience as well, and then to train your skills in extract the data or even like analyze the data lah. Yep. So I think I will be I think for Trinity sessions will be like around here, right? If not mistaken. So
okay. The final slide that I want to show is probably okay. Some participants, they want to how they can continue the journey. Want to get in touch, whatever. So what I will do is that let me share out the screen.
yeah, I think
my
you're
machine
sharing the
already.
screen.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is how you can engage me. Okay, these are all the place. I've actually created a group that is a bit more data analytics specific, a Facebook group. Okay, this is the one. This is the address. Okay, what I'll do is that I'll paste all these links into the chat. Okay, so all of you are welcome to do connection over LinkedIn or over Facebook or whatever. Well, once in a while I'll post something lah. But at certain point when we come up with certain programs and all that, okay, I also post it inside the LinkedIn and the Facebook. Also, people can follow on from there. And for the matter, if you have any things that you want to follow up with us, want to ask us, coaching, whatever, you can please get in contact with us at any one of these contact points. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just paste all these things into the chat box. Fideli's website, you can also go and do a visit. If you follow Fidelis, actually we run events very frequently, minimum once a month, or over a variety of products and services. Also, just go to our website to have that constant update.
Yeah, feel free to connect us as well.
Yeah. I'll paste in all these. Okay, that's all for me. The last step is for me to paste in all these things into the chat box.
All right, yeah, thanks, Trinity. So for the participant that interested to, connect with Trinity, then feel free to engage with him, or even like you want to ask anything, then feel free to ask us or even like ask Trinity as well. Yep. Once again, I would like to thanks for. I think it is very practical, like the advices and also working space, because sometimes you didn't really understand about what is that. We just understand like the record, or even we just know how to use the like Microsoft Form or anything. So I think it's like giving a different different knowledge, like, or actually we can use this kind of feature to maybe utilize in the future. For example, I want to like go to a foreign country or anything, so I can use this kind of like data skills to do a little bit of research or anything. Yep. I think it's a very insightful sharing or even like experience to me.
Okay, one point to note that whatever I shared is probably very unique to me. Okay, so far I have not encountered anyone else that talk analytics in the way that I'm talking. Okay, because I do not agree to a certain large extent the way analytics is approaching. Okay, a lot of times when people talk about analytics, or they are scared, because so many things to do, data lah, data scientists big data lah, what software to use lah. Okay, and a lot of them, when talk about analytics, they say it's IT. Analytics to me is not IT. Analytics is not IT. Analytics is business. Okay, because once you let IT take over, then all the technicalities will come in. Do programming, I need data scientists, I need database, so many things will come up. And after listening all these things, you say, don't do, give up. So I'm hopefully I'm sharing a very pragmatic approach now to analytics.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any final question?
I think from the chat is
The certificate, I'm not sure, because we did say that you can get a certificate, but I'm not sure whether they are still applying the condition that you must attend a certain number of sessions. Atira,
yes.
there's a question of will they get a certificate for joining this program? So I'm not sure the question being asked.
Yes, we will provide the certificate, but
there's not for every session, right? If they must participate
no,
up to a certain number of sessions.
Every session is only overall for the National Learning Week.
Meaning if they attend one session, they also get a certificate.
That one I need to discuss internally first.
That's the part they need to discuss.
Okay, we will update
Okay.
you.
But currently, what is this? Currently, what is your understanding?
Currently, yes, you need to attend all 3 AIESEC session to get the certificate.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
If they look at recording, got count or not?
Yes.
No count.
Look at recording. No count.
Okay. Anyone, any question, any final question? Sorry, is there, what are the rules, the hackathon, where they submit, how they submit and all those things? And what are the prizes?
I think this one I will be telling them later after, after I will be sharing screen about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you better take over now. Hey, sorry.
Yeah, I think I will take over now,
Take
and then I will be explaining
Okay.
So, yep. Okay. So I think before we proceed to the last session or even like the cert or even like the challenge, right? So just recall a little bit because the national learning weeks, right, that just now we mentioned. So I think just to recap a little bit what's happened in the first day, I think it's during October. It's actually we share about personal branding and we invite one of the LinkedIn influencer, IU, to share about like personal branding and also why is it important lah. And then we also very glad to see actually there's some responses on LinkedIn and also like we have delegates that engage with us. I think this is a very good job as well. And then after the October session already, and then we also have a session during November, which we talk about sustainability mindset and also how youth or even we could play a role to sustain our organizations. We have Jai from UPM here to introduce a little bit about sustainable mindset. Yep. And then for today's sessions is about data analytics by Trinity. So I think just now you all also experienced like for example like how to like deal with the data or even like how to what data can provide to you as well. So I think these are the the elements that we try to bring up throughout the whole national learning weeks lah. So you might questions, right? Oh, what is the relationship between Squid Game and also these 3 teams, right? Then how is it linked together? So if you refer properly, right? I mean, if you go through these 3 process, first thing we talk about personal branding, which is very essential for yourself. And second is sustainable mindset, is help you to improve or even like help you to evaluate how you think and also in a sustainable way. And next one is about hard skill. I mean about skills or even knowledge about how to deal with data or even like this kind of analysis lah. So actually, these 3 elements is like what is very essential like for you to survive in this kind of like digital era, because from the previous or even like beginning I also asked about what do you think about data and do you think digitalization is very important in this world. So these 3 actually is contributing to your personal or even survival skill. So if let's say you go through you went through these 3 sessions and you find it's very interesting or like it give you a lot of insights, then feel free to interact with us. For example, join a workshop or even challenges with us to utilize or even practice your knowledge in this practice the knowledge in action lah. Yep. So last challenge that actually AIESEC would like to give for our delegates, right, is actually a challenge by for 2 days lah. So actually like you are suffering from COVID-19 in Malaysia, I think everyone does. So you need to move on to other country. So based on the COVID situation and vaccination data, so which country would you choose to move to, and also if you have the opportunities lah. So complete this game in 1 week. I think 1 week is like sufficient to you to extract data or even refer to the recording. Yep. And then we will be giving the details to you further after these sessions as well. And then we'll provide you the link or even like further data. If let's say you didn't receive, right, then feel free to approach any of us, like our AIESEC team, so we can help you or even assist you further lah. So actually this challenge is very I would say it's very prestigious because we have 5 winners 5 Microsoft Office specialist exam voucher and also 3 trophy So actually this is like a very, very premium, also a very how to say a recognitions for you all, and also like milestone lah, to symbolize actually you have participated and also to develop yourself in this National Learning Weeks. Yep. So this is like you can see the exam voucher details lah. So this kind of digital skills is very essential for everyone of us. No matter you are students or even you are graduates or your internship, actually we also use a lot of like Microsoft Office or even like this kind of feature. So I would very encourage you all to join lah. Yeah, I think that's all for today's session. And once again, we'd like to appreciate everyone's attendance and also like your attention throughout the whole program. And before we end, right, just to have like a final words is remember to let us to know what we can improve. So basically, if you scan this QR code, is like inside this QR code is a feedback form lah. And then we also understand that now it's already quite late. So feel free to fill in the feedback form that will be sent in the chat soon. And then also fill in after this event lah. Yep. So I think that's all for today's sessions. So once again, would to thanks a lot to everyone. And then before we go, just I think we can have like a photo sessions with everyone lah. Yep. To officially end this today's event lah. Yep. I think I'll present my screen and then everyone feel free to open your cam and then like have a photo session with us lah. Okay, great. I think I will be waiting for like few more seconds for those who are trying to open your camera and also those who will be open soon. So I think I'll wait for a few seconds. So yeah, I think that's all lah. Okay, so I think I will be taking the photo in 3, 2, 1. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I took the photo already. Yeah, once again, thanks everyone for your attendance, and then you may fill in the feedback form and have a good rest, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for attention. Feel
Yeah,
free to
good night.
contact up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time for in joining us. Okay, I hope you can join us again next time. Enjoy your Friday night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.